Good evening.
Good evening.
Last day of term, absolutely exhausted, and so therefore to put us in a great frame of mind, we watched Father's Day, an inherently cheerful episode of Doctor Who. A theme of this chunk of the Whoathon is I had forgotten just how damn good this first season of the revival was, and it is quite remarkable that it managed to knock it out of the park. Just so confidently on first blush. I saw a quote by the editor of Doctor Who magazine in reference to Shooty's first season, and the implication of the quote was that when it came back in 2005, it wasn't an overnight success. It bloody was an overnight success, wasn't it, Lib?
Yes.
You're reading and ignoring me, aren't you?
Well, I am reading my book, yeah.
I remember it being massive from the get-go, and
it was for you.
I think it was everywhere. There were posters everywhere. People were talking about it. You wouldn't expect it to. I just remember being massive. And one of the things that got me is stories like this. So there's a number of things I mean by that. So in comparison to old Doctor Who, this is much more sophisticated telly. In this episode of Doctor Who, you have 3 Jackies. You have Jackie now. Do you even have Jackie now? No, you don't have Jackie now, but we know Jackie now. So Jackie's existing now, we used to know Jackie. Then you got Jackie with sort of like 5-year-old Rose, and then you get Jackie with baby Rose. At no point does the programme bother to sort of explain what's going on there. I think the programme just expects you to keep up because it's not patronising you as a viewer. And I think that really helps Doctor Who work in 2005.
It wasn't hard to keep up with that.
I don't think it was, but in comparison to the old show...
Well, it was signposted really easily because when you saw Jackie with the 5-year-old, she had a 5-year-old Rose. When you saw Jackie with the baby, she had the baby.
I am totally with you, but I don't think old Who did that. I just don't think old Who did that. What we agree is a very acceptable way of doing television. So there's that. Next thing about this is a very classic time travel-y story, but it's the sort of story that Doctor Who can only really get away with once. Now, the classic example of that is The Doctor's Wife. And I remember Gaiman came out, who we've all got issues with at the moment, but Gaiman came out and said you can only do this story once before the story was on. And then, of course, we saw The Doctor's Wife and we appreciated why he said that, because it's a one-off opportunity. I don't think you could do a Father's Day again. And so it's absolutely to the testament of Paul Cannell, whatever input Davis had into the script, and you've got to imagine he had a massive impact, but particularly the performances of, I'm always saying Eccleston and Piper, but I've forgotten the guy who plays Rose's dad, but he is amazing in this. Like, he really pulls it out of the bag with a performance that's totally believable.
Wife is nodding.
Thank you very much. As Rose's dad, but also as just a man who recognises that he's wound up in a situation that is inconceivable for him. Absolutely spectacular. It's quite a small-scale story, really, just with the entirety of the universe or the planet Earth or whatever was at stake. But I just think that it's really well told. Like, there are images in it I've forgotten. Like, when he opens the TARDIS and there's nothing inside. How often does that happen? Not very often. Not very often. I'm feeling there's an old Who story where that happens, but I can't bring to mind what it is. But it's a great moment because already by this point we're just used to the idea that this is whopping great big space, and so to whip that under, the rug from under our feet is absolutely brilliant. I love the whole bit at the start with the sort of like conversation about can Rose go back, and then the Doctor agrees, and then they have another try, and this leads me on to a bit of fictional kayfabing about this Doctor. This Doctor is a little bit off his rocker, isn't he? There's not many Doctors.
Yeah, he shouldn't have let her go back. It was risky. DT wouldn't have let anyone.
DT wouldn't have done it. Sylve wouldn't have done it unless it was part of his big scheme. You know, this Doctor just does it. It says, your wish is my command, but be careful what you wish for. He's pissing about with the laws of time here. It's absolutely shocking. But I love it. I mean, what a great, angle on this Doctor. Flipping love that. And the other bit about this story, you get the righteous indignation of the 8th Doctor, 9th Doctor. But the other bit is that moment where he's in the church and he's talking to the bride and groom and he's saying, oh, you met on a street corner at 2 a.m, got a taxi home. I'll never do that. I've genuinely bought into that. He goes from stupid ape to, oh, normal people, you're absolutely amazing. Billie Piper is off the scale brilliant in this. Off the scale brilliant. Because I genuinely think, is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. And the performance with, as I say, can't remember his name, but her dad is absolutely sublime. And then, was her name Camille Cowdery? Jackie? I'm sure it's Camille something. What a look. I mean, when Jackie first came in and she was all brassy and brazen, I remember us thinking, all right. But the more you see her, the more you realise the depth of that character, the humanity of that character.
Camille Codgery.
Thank you. And just absolutely beautiful. What a delightful little story. And even the little Mickey, I love that. I love all that kind of thing. So, it's ridiculous to say it's a hidden gem because it's flipping Father's Day and it's talked about to this day. But, the other thing, I'm not, I studied drama. I did a bit of directing back in my day, as a student. That shot in the church where you get right towards the end, Billie Piper's face is framed on the left of just over here, and then everything's obviously out of focus, and you can see her dad off in the background up there.
Played by Sean Dingle.
Sean, that's it, thank you so much. And he walks from the back towards, and then she stands up. Was just such a beautifully framed shot. There's just so much to take from this particular episode of Doctor Who. Absolute joy. Fantastic performances. A really sort of, like, to have done this type of story, like I say, a one-off, but to have done it justice, that's where I'm going with this, is an absolute joy to behold. And again, my gosh, Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper in the absolute top rank of Doctor companion teams. Are we going to feel the same way about DT and Rose?
Well, I've got a thing for DT, so
yeah, but
I'm guessing I will.
My gosh.
But I like the relationship between these two. I like the whole, okay, I'll tell him you're not my boyfriend.
Yeah.
That kind of
that tension.
And when she says, somebody asks her if she's got a boyfriend, and she says, no, not really, referring to Mickey.
But is she referring to the Doctor or...
Well, I think she's referring to Mickey. I think that's...
No, I agree.
She's just left him behind.
But there's a gap in that sentence, isn't there? Oh, it's lovely. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a fantastic Doctor Who story.